You listen to the Carter Six. I did not listen to the Carter Six. I have not seen an album be panned this roundly since Raekwon's Immobilarity. That is the last time I saw such consensus disgust for one record. You listened to it. You said you had a reason.
I did. I felt, and the whole thing is I've ignored Weezy's albums of the last few years. What he did was he called it the Carter Six. That's what got everyone invested, right? Like, there's a certain brand that he's established with the Carter, and we thought, okay, maybe he's putting the bullshit aside and is really locking in on this album. Like, for instance, I know you and I, we're both big Ghostface fans.
Yes.
When have you cared? The last time I cared about a Ghostface album was Big Doe Rehab 2006. I just got news this week that he's dropping Supreme Clientele 2 this summer. I'm going to be there at 12:01 a.m. on that Friday night, and I know you are too, Bo. Are you not?
Let me tell you the truth. I was not a big Supreme Clientele fan in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized it didn't make sense on purpose. It was kind of a Dadaist interpretation of rap. That's all I needed to hear. Because prior to that, I was like, but brother, this doesn't make any sense. Now it's like, yeah, you're right. All over it. So this is my thought. And I feel differently about Supreme Clientele because he's only coming back to part 2, literally 25 years after the first one, right? To me, the Carter Six was a bad sign. This dude ran out of so many ideas that he didn't even have an idea for a name of an album that did not bode well for the album that was going to be there. Number 2, by the time you get to part 6, we in Police Academy territory. You feel me? Like that's the Police Academy and the Fast and the Furious. That's where we are. None of them have marks of quality. Like that was the bad sign to me. But I saw somebody, I don't think they made this exact point. I can't remember who it was, but I think what I'm going to say was inspired by whoever said that first, or influence is probably the better way to put it. When you're a rapper who never really had a point, it's hard to age, right? Because at his best, Wayne is so incredible, but he didn't really have a point. And then he reached this point where his recording was one line at a time, just making sure that the bars were dope with one another. But that's no way to put together anything that actually has a point. And so now you in your mid-40s and you ain't got no point. You can't really be out here rapping like a young person. Like the cats that keep their raps going in their 40s are cats that then begin to rap like they're in their 40s, right? They have like a thing that they want to say. And I felt like with him, he had reached that point where he just doesn't, like, why do I care what Lil Wayne says about anything at this point in my life?
Yeah. It's stream of consciousness rap where the consciousness has been rapidly kind of deteriorating for like the last 20 years or so. But yeah, the thing about Weezy, and I feel like, I don't want to tear the dude down. I want to give him his flowers because I'm a huge Weezy fan. I think that, he's at the point now where none of this really matters. It's just discussion. His reputation, his legacy is cemented for me. I think that when I think about Lil Wayne, there's like a few things that come to mind in regards to his legacy. I think that Lil Wayne had the best second act in rap history. And I view the first act of his career, the 3 albums before Carter. Carter dropped, and that was a significant shift in Lil Wayne's career trajectory, right? I don't know if you can say that anyone had a better run than Lil Wayne. If we're bookmarking it at the Carter in 2004 and No Ceilings in 2009, I'm not sure if there's a rapper who had a better 5-year run than that. I also think
we limited that to Solo.
Just to the work output, because mixtapes play a huge part in Wayne's legacy as well, and also yes, just solo because Wayne was flying solo at that moment. And also I think a sneaky thing is Lil Wayne is probably the second best teen kid rapper behind LL. Like,
I think that is absolutely correct.
Yeah, like if you like his albums before Carter was his 4th album, and he was 22 when he made that. He made 3 albums, 2 group albums before he was even 20. Like,
he was 15 years old rapping with grown men, not as a kid. He just happened to be a kid.
Yes, exactly. One of my favorite verses, one of my favorite songs from Weezy is "Millionaire Dream" on Big Timers. How You Love That, and he's floating all over that motherfucker. The chorus that he's providing is incredible. The first time we hear him say bling on record, I believe, too. And he's rapping about how he's only 15 in that verse. It is just an incredible performance. At all. Right? Yeah, because his parents ain't want that. But yeah, I think that hold
on, right fast. Let's just take a moment. It's okay to hand your kids over to Baby and Slim. Just don't have them out here cussing.
Hey, New Orleans is a different world, bro. I feel like it's an extremely different place. Yeah, and I don't know, the dynamic that Lil Wayne and Baby had, it was an interesting one to say the least.
But I think something else that this Wayne album deals with, and I'm curious what you think about this. When rappers drop, no matter how old they are, we expect heat. Heat, I tell you. Like, Rolling Stones put out Mixed Emotions in 1989. People are not expecting that to be Exile on Main Street, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, Stones put out another album. That's cool. Oh, there'll be a tour. That'll be cool too. No, we are expecting, if you choose to rap, we expect you to be as dope as you ever were.
Yeah. And the thing is, Wayne has shown some glimmers. Like, he's done some incredible work with West Side Gun. He had a song with Corday this year where he killed it. I feel like it's still there. Like, you know, LeBron had that whole quote about how he's aged as a basketball player, where he's like, you know, I can't get there every night, but I can get there when I need to. And it feels like Lil Wayne kind of still had that in this. Was why probably like a lot of us tapped into Carter 6, and it was terrible. Carter 6 is horrible. Like, there's a track on there produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I saw that. And I'm like, homie, come on, man. Like, I heard the joint he did the BET Awards on Monday night, the Welcome to the Carter joint. That one was all right, but then he came behind that with a milli because he knew he ain't had no other song that he should be doing. Now, I would make this suggestion to any, and look, Lil Wayne's a middle-aged rapper at this point. He's just not very tall. I would suggest to any middle-aged rapper that the way to do it at this point, well, number one, is not with 19 tracks. I would advise against that. Mm-hmm. But one producer, man. Do like LL did with Q-Tip. That was a really, really, really good record. Go hold up with one dude. It ain't got to be a dude your age, like Nas with Hit Boy has been a great example, right? Yes. Go work with one person, get you something that's continuous or whatever. But this working with a million different producers, that's young hot dude shit. And you're not the young hot dude no more. Yeah.
The Clipse are locking in with Pharrell for 13 tracks. And that Ace Trumpet single is some of the best work we've heard from them, bro. Like, Are you a fan of the Clipse? I feel like I've never really kind of heard your take on them.
On another day, we'll talk about how you guys can have that. I understand why someone would love them, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if I was from a state that ain't really got no cities or no sports teams or that many rappers to discuss. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but I was saying, man, damn, that's me now. Those dudes are gods to me. You see, I got the Billionaire Boy Club hat right here.
Yeah,
like
they're y'all's UGK, right?
Yes.
Like, it's a very, like, not that UGK is the only rappers from there, but it's a very particular sort of thing when you have that group that fills that role. But my thing with UGK is you can go album to album and they take on different personalities and different things that they're talking about, right? Now you can be like, well, what's the difference between talking about selling dope and pimping? A lot of difference, actually. And they navigated through that. The Clipse particular brand of cocaine rap does not do it for me. They are talented, but it's not. The thing I will give them, though, that I appreciate more than I didn't when I was younger was the role that Malice No Malice plays as the one who has a conscience, right? Like, there's an emotional resonance to his presence that's very similar to the Pimp C. Pimp C has guilt. Pimp C has regret. Pimp C rues things. That was his criticism of Jeezy, is that Jeezy didn't rue anything about this. And the Clipse give you that. But yeah, I see that they bring you guys so much joy, and I would never be the one to interfere.
Listen, bro, we are on the opposite ends of the spectrum about this. Like, even if I wasn't a VA dude, I think I would still be a huge Clipse fan. I think they are just so good at rapping, bro. And that they are so good at rap. Like, Hell Hath No Fury, I think there's times I listen to that and I think this might be the best rap album of the 2000s, bro. Like, they are that good in my eyes.
I'll say the other part too. The Nah, I don't feel like talking about this part right now.
No,
I just can't.
no.
No.
You already said your state ain't shit. You ain't got nothing to do besides listen to the clips. Like,
You're right. I did. I don't love Pharrell as much as everybody else does.
Understand.
I don't, and I mean that in the sense that that's not Pharrell is whack. That's not Pharrell don't have dope shit, right? But the era of Pharrell, like when the Neptunes were the super heat, I liked my sound a lot more analog than what they were doing. Does that make sense? Like, that was my thing with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you've got to gripe against Pharrell Neptunes, you probably hated how futuristic it sounds when everyone probably loves how futuristic it sounded.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, right? But it just wasn't like, even I go back now and I listen to some of the stuff that was the heat from the Neptunes back then. Like, to me, as an example, Super Thug didn't really age well. Like, when I go back and listen to that, and I liked that when it came out, but I'm like, yeah, no, it's just not for me, right? But I understand what it is to other people. Now, Pharrell, as the years have gone on, has done a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh man, like Pharrell did all right for Kendrick. That is not something that you would have told me in 2003 was on the card.
Yeah, like Pharrell tells a hilarious story about how when Michael Jackson reached out to him, he wanted him to executive produce his album, and Pharrell sent him the pack that would turn into Justin Timberlake's Justified.
Mm-hmm.
And he said Michael Jackson came back to him and said, "This isn't what I wanted. I wanted some Super Thug sounding beats."
Yes.
Michael Jackson on Super Thug production is just something that melts my mind. I can't even imagine that, bro.
Number one, I think I would rather Super Thug version than the Justified Justin Timberlake version. I felt like we was being a little loose with the invites to the barbecue when it came to that space. But I think what I truly think happened with Mike though was with Bad, which is a very, very, very good album. It had all kinds of hits and everything else. But Mike should have moved on from Quincy after Thriller. But why would you do that? It was after Thriller. And for the first time, he was a little bit behind the sounds of what was hip. Like, he went to Teddy Riley for Dangerous. That is an attempt to make the sound a little bit hipper. And I think that Mike had decided, because Mike, you got to remember, Mike at the end of the 90s is in his early 40s. So he's not really old. He's like, yo, man, give me what's hot in these streets right now. That's where I'm trying to get back to.
Yeah, he went to Teddy Riley for the New Jack Swing in 91 when Guy dropped their self-titled in 87. Like, he was for sure behind the curve. But I mean, I think it worked. Like, there's times I feel like Remember the Times might be the best radio single MJ gave us, even though it's for sure 3 or 4 years behind the curve. But yeah, for sure, someone who was
Dangerous got heat though.
It do.
Dangerous got Who Is It? Dangerous got In the Closet. Dangerous got Remember the Time. Dangerous got a few more. Like, Dangerous is. I think this happens with these records. A lot of those mid 90s Prince records are like this too. That when you listen to them separated from what the era was, they sound better because you're no longer thinking about them in comparison to what else is out. You know, like I think it gets there, but yeah, they might be like, nah, I want some of that gangster shit. And by the way, that means that Mike, when he asked for it, was not using the Mike voice that we were using. He used the real Mike voice. Some of that gangster shit. I'm from Gary. Fool.
Yeah, that Gary Indiana shit, that Freddie Gibbs shit.
Yeah, like, come on, cuz. Did I say cuz? Come on, cuz.